Austin, Texas. I want to thank Mose Chun for tuning in. Don't know how many people will be tuning in. This is somewhat of impromptu. Let me know how the visual and audio is. So Mose Chun says he lives in Montana. I had asked him where he was at, or was at. And like many in the Midwest, it is hard to get rid of get a lot of Texas whiskey. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons I was talking about in the video that I posted about shopping for whiskey in Texas. Is come to Texas, visit the distilleries, interact with the people, become aware of the climate. Dramman, Kentucky, thank you very much for tuning in. Donner Pass Whiskey, hello neighbor. He's from California. He's actually up the Sierra Foothills. And Roslav Traps, thank you very much for tuning in. So as Mose Chun said, it's difficult to find Texas whiskeys. So one of the things I was emphasizing in the last live stream and in the video was when you come to Texas and you look for Texas whiskeys, it's not just about going everywhere you can to visit distilleries, as awesome as that is, and that's really the best part of the experience you can have. But even if you're like here on business for a short period of time, maybe you're here to go to a wedding, something like that, just look around for local shops and see if you can find some Texas whiskeys, because sometimes there are actually whiskeys that aren't available at the distillery, but they're available at local shops. So when I went to Balcones last time, there were actually some whiskeys I wanted to try or wanted to buy and couldn't because they weren't available, but I could get them, such as the Hechiceros. It wasn't available there. I had tasted it with Daniel the day before over at the Crowded Barrel, and then was out at Balcones. I wanted to buy one, but I couldn't. Lo and behold, months and months later, I'm back in Texas and was able to find one at a local shop. Grammy Young, thank you very much for tuning in. The weather, it's been hot, it's been humid. We actually had a little bit of rain, which brought it down 10 degrees, which was nice. But of course, the humidity gets a little bit worse. Carl Nichman, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. So I've been drinking this for a couple of days. This is a 375 of Joe Magnus. I'm in Texas, but I'm not drinking a Texas whiskey because I couldn't find a mini of a Texas whiskey. I didn't want to open a 750, put a cork in it, and then put it in my bag with the potential that it could leak. When you're flying, pressure changes and so forth, you gotta deal with those issues. So I wanted something that I knew I would like, and yet I could probably finish. So I am right about there. I will probably get down to just about there tonight, I'm guessing, which means I could be close to finishing tomorrow. So this is Friday night the 13th. I fly Friday the 13th. Ooh. I fly back to California on Sunday. So basically, I've got one more day here. I'll be visiting probably some wineries and more distilleries. And then I'm going to probably hang out at the Crowded Barrel towards the end of the day. I was going to go there tonight, but I just ran out of time. So OG, I think that stands for Original Gangster, but I could be wrong. OG Brick 420. Thank you very much for tuning in. Oh, there's a Harvest Moon tonight. Doug Christo, thank you very much for tuning in. So I do have this on ice. So I'm at a different hotel, and the air conditioning for this hotel, this is not as nice as the last place I was at, is right there. And if I had the AC on, it would make too much noise. So I'm not worried about getting too hot in here, but gotta keep things a little cool. Donner Pass Whiskey says, let me shoot this real quick. He says, Erik Wait, yes. Ironwood Harbinger at my local Total Wine the other day, and they are getting around. Okay, that's awesome. That's cool, but it's probably not the same ABV as the ones you can get from the distillery. But still, if you haven't tried it already, you should get it. Oh, wait a minute. We met, didn't we? We met at Phil and Deepa's. Didn't we meet at Phil and Deepa's? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I forgot we met already. We've met before at Phil and Deepa's in Daly City. Hey, if you happen to be in the Silicon Valley, let me know ahead of time, and you can drop on by and taste any one of my whiskeys. Oh, Steve A says Supreme Streamage, always good. Well, you never know about a hotel. You never know how good a connection you're getting, but it looks like we're doing pretty good. Grab says, you have inspired me to regrow my beard. Well, it is itchy. Itchy. It's not just a matter of early stages of itchiness. It's that hair moves around or whatever, or touches your lip or touches your nose, whatever. It's itchy. But now everybody seems to like it. So now it seems like I got. The funny thing is, I don't want to talk about beards all night. I got this weird patch of gray here and weird patch of gray here. It's kind of intermixed. You can buy these products that'll get rid of the gray. But since you guys have already seen me with the beard, it would be recognizable. So I'll just keep the gray. What the hell? I don't care. But it's kind of weird inconsistency. Anyway, so working on the Joe Magnus, really like this. I would just wish I was drinking a Texas. I'd rather be drinking a Texas whiskey. So what do I want to talk about tonight? So first of all, I went live on Wednesday in what normally would have been Jason the Mash and Drums time slot. So Jason is on travel. Gohab says keep the gray. So Jason was on travel. I texted him and he said, yeah, he's busy. I think he says he's in Vegas. He's traveling, probably for business. I don't know. So I don't know. There could be distilleries in Texas to visit, in Vegas to visit. I don't know. And then so I went live Wednesday. So it took us his time slot. I actually wasn't planning on going live tonight, and I thought, I'll just kick back and watch another live stream. So I contacted Bill, the Whiskey Dick, and Bill is babysitting tonight. So Bill, if you happen to tune in, say hello to the kiddos for me. So Bill is babysitting tonight. So then I contacted Chris, Bourbon Insane, and he's working. Like, wow. So I could have just said, well, I'm gonna watch a movie, just kind of chill out. I actually just finished watching a movie, Mule with Clint Eastwood. It was actually a really good movie, really somewhat predictable, but I thought it was a really good movie. You get free movies, whatever, here on in the hotel, a nice big screen TV. Anyway, so I just watched that. That was pretty good. But I thought, you know what? I could just chill out, watch a movie, but I feel like hanging out and chatting with people. So, and the people, it's Friday night, starting on the weekend. People like live streams, So, hey, if you guys are pouring yourself something, let me know what you're drinking. If you're pouring yourself anything, there's a point here is to get together virtually and have a drink. And chill and chat and interact. So I wanted to talk about some distilleries that I visited today. And things have worked out really, really well today in terms of my visit. You plan an itinerary and you don't necessarily know how everything's going to go. But things really, really, really worked out really, really, really cool. Steve A says he's drinking a store pick. Let me bring it up here. A store pick of Four Roses. That's cool. I like that distillery. In fact, it was the first distillery that I visited in Kentucky. Ross Laugh says I have an Irish cask strength. I've not had the cask strength. I do have a bottle of the Redbreast 12. Haven't reviewed it. One of these days I'm gonna get around doing a whole month of just Irish whiskeys. Irish is one of my neglected categories of whiskey, as well as Canadian. Hey, Scully's House of Thrillers. So Scully's House of Thrillers, I met him through watching Nick Nimmin or D Nimmin or both. So typically Saturday mornings and Sundays, I'm watching Nick and D Nimmin learn how to better work the YouTube environment. So we met there, which is kind of cool. Have you not had a Redbreast 12 cask strength? No, I'm not. I only have the regular bottle, and I haven't had the. I haven't had a lot, other than someone like Jameson, some of the mainstream sort of typical bottom shelf Irish whiskeys. I haven't had a lot of Irish whiskeys. Oh, I've had Teelings. I really like the Teelings. I've done Teeling whiskeys. But if you were to go into my playlist and check out the Irish videos, there aren't a lot of them. So eventually, probably 2020, I'm gonna do a whole month of Irish whiskeys. I'm gonna do a whole month of Canadian whiskeys, because that's another category I've neglected. And I want to do more Japanese, so I'll probably do a Japanese month as well. I saw Matt in here a second ago. He says, I have the Redbreast 12 cask strength in Austin for you, but I want a whole bottle. I thank you very much. A sample would be great, but I want a whole bottle to review, spend time, spend time with it, and do something maybe, for an Irish month, something like that. So, but I totally appreciate that. All right. So I'm going live tonight mostly because nobody else can be available. So I want to talk a little bit about the distilleries I went to today. Got to have something to talk about since I'm here in Texas. So Texas is a very large state, and getting around, you look at a map, it can look like, oh, I'll go there and I'll go there and I'll go there, but things are a lot more spread out than you might think. And then you look at the time schedules as to when people are open and when they're available. And so forth, and make a plan. So my goal was to hit 2 distilleries near San Antonio and then come back up to Austin, where I'm at now. I'm in Austin. I'm back in Austin right now. And then maybe drop into the Crowded Barrel in the evening. But I visited 3 distilleries near San Antonio. And then traffic coming up here was bad. A lot of freeways are under construction right now in Texas. So traffic was really bad. By the time I got here, it was time for dinner. Even though the Crowded Barrel is in Austin, it's not like real close to where I'm at. It'd be a further hour away. By the time I got there, I'd only been there for an hour before the place closed. I'm not going to do that. I'll just go get something to eat, come back to the hotel, and see who's doing a live stream. And turns out nobody's doing a live stream. So let's see. Saw a name in here a second ago I was going to say hello to. I've got 2 chat things going up. A little challenging to keep track of both of them. I saw Fudd. Where is he? Ross Fudd. Ross Fudd is drinking a Woodinville tonight. I'm not familiar. I don't think I'm familiar with Woodinville. There we go. Says he's drinking. Elmer Fudd or Ross Fudd is drinking a Woodinville tonight. So enlighten me. Is that a bourbon? I'm guessing that sounds like a bourbon, like it'd be a bourbon. So is it a bourbon? What is it? Lit inquiring minds want to know. ADHD fishing. Thank you very much for tuning in. So the AD is alcohol deficient hyperactivity disorder. That's what the ADHD stands for. Alcohol deficiency hyperactivity disorder. Oh, it's a bourbon. So Whiskey Crusader says it's a bourbon. Okay, cool. Arthur Lopez. How does it go, sir? A lot of people call me sir. I don't see anybody else being called sir. People call me sir all the time. Maybe it's because of my age. I don't know. I'm at Balcones drinking the future release. That's an experiment over there. You're at Balcones. That's awesome. So Balcones is having a big event tomorrow. I'm tempted to go up there, but it's 2 hour. It's about a 2 hour drive to get up there. 2 hour drive back. I got to fly out tomorrow. I have stuff that I want to do here in Austin. It's just too far away. And I've already been there. I've done a tour of the place. So as much as if I was going to leave on Monday, I would go up there because then I could do stuff here more on Sundays. Although Texas is funny. In case you guys don't know, if you visit a distillery in Texas, they can't on Sunday. They can't sell you any whiskey. You go to a brewery, they can sell you beer. They can pour you a cocktail, but they can't sell you a bottle of whiskey. It's the stupidest regulation I've ever heard. Absolutely moronic. So it's a bourbon from Washington State. Okay, so that's what he's drinking. I've had wines from Washington, excellent wines, particularly Syrahs from Washington. And Cabernets, mostly Syrahs that I've really liked, but I've not had any whiskeys from Washington. Oh, wait a minute. Something West. My brain just went blank. Something West. I think they're in Washington. In fact, I think they get some kind of peat from Washington. All righty. So I went to 3 distilleries today. The first one, it's kind of funny thing is Westland. Yeah, thank you, Matt. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, Westland, of course, Hey, Spencer Whalen, thank you very much for tuning in. I've been by the way, just to let you know, I have been a sort of promoter at all the distilleries I go to, because I asked him, so are you a member of the Whiskey Trail? Oh, no, we've been thinking about it. I said, oh, well, you should really think about it, Da, 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 da. So I've been sort of an unofficial representative of the Whiskey Trail, talking to people about it, trying to encourage people to join the Whiskey Trail. So the first distillery I went to today, this is a funny thing. I had contacted, so before I went to Scotland, I contacted every distillery, not just to make reservations, but I contacted every distillery, let them know I'm coming. Hey, this is what I am. This is what I do. Da, 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 da. I want you video and photography, yada, yada, yada. Sir, S-I-R, sommelier ingesting alcohol, except the R doesn't, alcohol doesn't begin with an R. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so I contacted, hey, I'm going to be town. Da, 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 da. Some of them are challenging to visit because of the time. Some of them, like on a Friday, they don't open until 5 o'clock. And so my goal today was to try to hit some early in the day and then have that long drive up to Austin. But you're going to be hitting end of the week commuter traffic, right? People got off work and they would get out of town. So you're going to hit that bad traffic. I was trying to avoid that, but I didn't. But so I was going to visit just 2 distilleries, pop into one, interact with them, and then pick something up and then go. And then there was one, they weren't scheduled to open till 5 p.m. in San Antonio. Well, by the time I got there, it'd be 6 o'clock. By the time I'd be getting up here, it'd be like 8, 9 o'clock. It'd be way too late. So I was just going to see if I could just go and take some pictures, But it turns out they opened the door, let me in, and gave me a tour. So that's cool. All right. So the first distillery I went to was Alamo Distillery. Alamo, I think they might. I can't remember if they make bourbon or not. So here's the funny. So I had contacted them a while back. They're in the process of moving. So it wasn't ideal for taking pictures, but they really, 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 really wanted me to come by. And they actually gave me this bottle. This was a freebie, and I want to discuss that a little bit. So they gave me this bottle. It's a very young bourbon, only aged 1 year. And look at the color in that thing. Aged 1 year. Look at the color in that thing. All right. So this was a free bottle. So, when I'm doing something, you get something for, hold on, I'm going to chat here. All right. So, when you get something for free, I think you should acknowledge, hey, I got this for free. When you give a review, give it an honest review, or don't review it at all, or just, talk about the distillery, but don't give it a score. I don't know. I'll figure something out. But just want to be open and honest. Hey, this was a freebie. I didn't pay for that. There are whiskey tubers who get bottles for free. They're given to them by reps, and they don't tell people that they do so. And they don't acknowledge that, hey, this is a free bottle. I'm reviewing this, but I got for free. There are some whiskey tubers that do that. I won't say who, but there are some that do. So I think if you get something for free, you should, hey, by the way, this comes along. This is a freebie, so I'll give it a polite review. But anyway, it's a pretty label. Really like the label. So they're moving, they're in the process of moving within about a month. So what I took some pictures of the barrels and took some, Matt says, always should acknowledge free alcohol, particularly if it comes from another whiskey tuber. Hey, Matt gave me this. Matt gave me some samples, or I got a bottle from the Scotch for Dummies or whatever. Give kudos to your fellow whiskey tubers. So GoHabs is asking me if my next coin will feature a bearded Erik Wait. I've been thinking about that. It's funny because I only have a few of my old coins, and I've got them with me. I'll probably be giving some away. I've been thinking about that. I'm not sure. I might come up with a completely different design. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm thinking about that. Anyway, so they're going to be moving. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to be doing Texas Whiskey Month until January 2020. By that time, they've already moved in. So what I'll do is when I do the video, I'll share some photos that I took from my visit, and then they'll send me some photos and video after they got moved in, so you can see the new place. And so I'll be able to still share some photos what the place will look like by the time I'm doing the reviews. So they were super nice. I mean, super nice. And the guy who I think he has his business card. I'm seeing if I find his business card. The guy that I was hanging out with. In fact, I got a couple of business cards here I should share. He was actually more pursuing me than I was to him. He sent me emails and contacted me. I mean, it was just super nice, super hospitable. So I was really glad about that, and I'm looking for. I know he probably gave me his business card, but it might be somewhere else. Shoot, sorry about that. Oh, hold on. No, here it is. There it is. So his name was Joe Connolly. Joe Connolly from Alamo Distilling. And so he's just very hospitable, got a free bottle, but he's not the distiller. The distiller was there. The distiller's name's Noel. He has a shiny head like myself, but he was in a meeting. Dram Bam, thank you, man. Hi, Eric, and hello to all heaviest Texas. Okay. So he was, but so I think so. Oh, he does sales and distribution manager. So Joe Connolly. So Joe Connolly, if you happen to be watching this, thanks for the hospitality. So again, so for those who are tuning in late, I wasn't planning on going live, but Bill the Whiskey Dick is babysitting, and Chris Bourbon Insane is working. And last Wednesday, Jason the Mash and Drum was out of town. So I'm doing the fill-in for other people's slots. Now, I normally go on Friday anyway, but I'm doing a different time slot. Typically, I would go 5 o'clock California, which is 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. So I'm actually hitting a slightly different time slot. Hey, if you guys are drinking something, let me know. Let me know what you're drinking. I'm still working on this 375 of the Joe Magnus that I picked up here. I'm not drinking a Texas whiskey because I couldn't find a mini, but I'm really enjoying this. And I turned the air conditioner off because of the noise. So it's not real warm in here, but it's by the end of the show it'll be a little warm in here because I didn't want to deal with the noise. All right, so that was Alamo. Really liked it. I hadn't been to San Antonio, Texas in 33 years. Last time I was in San Antonio, Texas, so I was in the Marines and went to basic training, boot camp in San Diego, and we did our field training at Camp Pendleton near San Diego. But I did my military police training with the Air Force. So a class would have maybe 30 people in the class going through the academy. 20 to 25 would be airmen, and then 5 to 10 might be more likely 5 would be Marines. So that was kind of the ratio. So my graduation picture has all these airmen and then just a handful of Marines in it. So I hadn't been to Alamo in 33 years, and it was interesting to be back here. It's sort of going back in time. So that was the Alamo. The second one now, this bottle, if you're watching my video, sorry, sliding the bottle there. If you saw my video of whiskey shopping in Texas, you'll recognize this bottle because this bottle was in the video. So I didn't know didn't know if I would be able to visit the distillery. So according to the website, this is from Ranger Creek. This is their cask strength. So this is Texas straight bourbon whiskey. This is bottle. I accidentally said it was 56.7 ABV. It's not. That's bottle 567. It's actually 63.6. I don't know if you can see that where my thumb is. 63.6 ABV. When I was recording the video, I had seen this and thought that was the ABV. I thought the 56.7 was the ABV. It turns out it's actually right there. So their open hours are 5 p.m. and they're in San Antonio. So I was thinking, if I wait till 5 o'clock, by the time I get up, it'll be 6 o'clock. By the time I get up, it'll be 8 o'clock. I didn't want to be driving that late. So Spencer Whalen says, # certified Texas whiskey. Is this one certified Texas whiskey? I don't see the particular sticker on it. It might be. Let's look on the back. It's and it on the back it says Eric needs new glasses, and that's true. Gosh. Well, I know it was aged there, and I saw their stills, and I saw their grain, I saw their smokehouse. By the way, if you follow me on it is okay. Spencer says it is. So if you follow me on Facebook, I posted. I've been posting pictures and stuff and short little video clips from my visits. So I went by there at 5 o'clock, and it's somewhat of a business park looking kind of a place. And I was not expecting it. I thought, okay, maybe I'll get a picture of the storefront, get of the front, something to put in the video. And someone stepped out, and they're like, hello? And I was like, oh, hi, my name's Eric. So I introduced myself, blah, 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 blah. I said, I already bought a bottle. I actually bought this at a shop in San Antonio. I already bought a bottle, but I would just come by to take some pictures because I want to do a video, and I explained it all to him. So he goes, oh, well, I'll give you a tour. I'm like, woo, do a tour. So showed me the tasting room. We went back and looked at the stills. We went into the barrel house, and then they smoke their own grain. They might be out of stickers. Oh, okay. So they might be out of the official Texas stickers. Distinct possibility. And then they showed me the smokehouse, the grain. So if you follow me on Facebook, I posted a picture of the grain, and you see basically it looks like a Connex box, and they turn into a smoker. So you see these shells, and it doesn't look like there's not much to look at, But even before he opened up the doors to look inside the smoker, you could smell it. Man, the smell it's kind of like a barbecue. It smells like a barbecue, but without the meat. But still, there's that, that smoky, burnt kind of barbecue smell to it. And then, of course, you can smell the roasted grain in there. It's just, now I wouldn't want to go in there because even if they're not smoking it at the moment, it's still extremely hot in there. Graham Bam, thank you, ma'am, says that is Texas hospitality. Probably, yeah. Except here's the funny thing: the guy that gave me the tour, as you're walking around, and then he showed me the barrels, and he really went all out to show me everything. He had a little bit of an accent. I think he might have given his card. I don't have it at the moment. And I was like, so where are you originally from? He said he's from Sweden. So the guy that was giving me a tour is actually from Sweden. Super, super nice guy. So I didn't buy anything there because I had already bought this at a local shop. And the reason why I bought a local shop because I didn't think I would actually get into the distillery because they opened so late, because until 5 o'clock. So I got in when they were closed and got a private tour, and that was totally awesome. So let me bring Spencer up here real quick. It's from their mesquite smoked single malt. Oh, nice. Yeah, that smell was just awesome. It smelled really, 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 really nice. So hey, just in case you guys don't know who Spencer is, he's been on my channel before. When I did a Texas Whiskey Month last May, Spencer was on real early. I did a premiere video with him, and he is the CEO of the Texas Whiskey Trail. And we met up again recently. Andalusia distillery had a 3-year anniversary last Saturday, and Spencer was there. Josh and his wife from Whiskey Crusaders was there. Daniel Whittington was there. A whole bunch of people were there, and a bunch of other names. I just can't remember everybody were there. But it was just really, really cool to see everybody. Oh, okay, nice. TX Texas Whiskey. So it's funny. I've been calling it TWA rather than TXWA, but TWA was an old airline, Trans World Airline. It doesn't exist anymore. But I'm calling it TWA because you have SWA, Scotch Whiskey Association. So why wouldn't you call it TWA, Texas Whiskey Association? But the text does make it clear that's Texas and not Tennessee or something. So anyway, I was just super, 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 super happy about that. And the fact that I had told him I'd already bought a bottle was probably, hey, let's give this guy some love. He's going to do a video. He's already bought a bottle. He's already sold. So let's give this guy some love. So it was cool, but really, really nice. And the smell of that mesquite toasted grain was just really, 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 really nice. So I'm taking a sip. Mm. Mm. Oh, now my third stop was really, really, really cool. I'm really, really glad I got this. So this was a distillery. I hadn't really, when you're searching around on the internet looking for distilleries. So what Matt is asking, did I get to taste the CS Rangers Creek? No. So I didn't do any tasting at Ranger Creek because I was going to be getting on the road, and I just kind of want to get in, get out, take my photos, and get up to Austin. So I actually haven't tasted this. I actually haven't tasted any other whiskeys. I did, and they weren't really open. They weren't open. They just opened the door for me so I could run around and take pictures and do a tour. But they weren't open for the normal service because they weren't scheduled to open until 5 o'clock. So I actually haven't tasted this yet, but I'm really, really looking forward to that. So the third distillery I went to was one I had heard people talk about, but before you go, you're gonna go somewhere, like I might go visit some wineries tomorrow in Austin. So I'll type in winery. You type in wineries near Austin, then see what comes up on the map, and then you can click on it and find out, which will take you to the website. All right, gotta go, but so glad you're back in Texas. If any of y'all want to join us, the Texas Whiskey Trail will be at Balcones tomorrow. Cheers. If it wasn't so far away from where I'm at, I would definitely be up there. And maybe something will move me to say, what the hell, I'm going to go for the drive. But what time do the events start up there? Spencer, what time do events start up there? Let me know, because that'll help me make a decision. Because maybe if I could do the stuff what I want to do here during the early in the day, maybe I head up there late in the day if they're doing things late in the day. If Spencer, if you're still watching, let me know what time to do it. All right. So the third distillery I went to was one I'd heard about. Okay, here we go. Matt says 4 o'clock, and Spencer says 3 to 8. I'll go with the 3 to 8. So 8, that's pretty late. So I might see you up there, but we'll see. 3 p.m. for VIP. Okay, if I go up, would I be a VIP? That would be an added incentive. A VIP. Be a VIP for the day. All right, I'll be MVP, a most valuable, important person. Anyway, so the third distillery was a distillery. We'll see how it goes. 2 hours north. Hey, Richard, how you doing? 2 hours north of Austin. Okay, it's 2 hours one way, 2 hours back. That's because my hotel is here and I'm flying out of here on Sunday. That's 4 hours in addition to whatever all running around I do while I'm here. So it's not just the 2 hours up there, it's a 2 hours back, and I don't have a co-pilot. There's no one's driving with me, and I'm already going to be visiting wineries and distilleries here earlier in the day. So let's say I visit 2 wineries and 1 distillery here, and then drive 2 hours up there, and then drive 2 hours back. That's the issue. If I wasn't going to do anything in Austin and just head up there and come on back, that would be different. Anyway, I don't need to. I'll think about it, but I kind of doubt it. It'd be just too long. It'd be a long drive. Anyway, so the third distillery was one that I had heard people talking about, but when I was searching around on the internet, it didn't come up. It didn't really show up. I hadn't seen things writing, but people kept mentioning it. And so, and if you're following me on Facebook, you already know what I'm referred to. And it is Samuel Mavic Distillery. It's a restaurant and distillery. I'm gonna back it up a little bit. Kind of a real cool looking bottle. This is a custom bottle, so it's not like a pre-formed or a bottle that they chose from. But this is one that they chose. So the name has a lot of history. The place has a lot of history. But if you notice the color, it's a little light. So this is the they have an Alamo whiskey, they have a light whiskey, and then they're doing gins, vodka, and the base ingredient for, they can't call it tequila. The base ingredient for tequila, agave. So they do an agave spirit as well. So I'd heard a lot about this. People talking about it, so okay, I got to go check this place out. Now, if you don't know what the place looks like, yeah, it looks green. That's because this like spent maybe an hour in a cask, maybe a day in a cask. This is really is a white whiskey, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So they're really, really new. They don't really have any of their long aged stuff ready yet. It's still in barrel. So right now, in terms of what's bringing in money is probably the vodka, the gin, and they're selling this, you know, as a category, as a white whiskey. But which in terms of branding and building a reputation on something, I wouldn't have gone this move. I wouldn't have done it. I would have keep selling your vodka and whatever. But the other alternative is you could then source some stuff and then sell it and then transition into your own stuff. And there's different ways you can do the early years of your distillery. It's funny. Matt says, hilarious, you got 3 bottles I've never tried while you're here. Mission accomplished. So I wanted to get something to review, something going on with the video, but I want to talk about the distillery really quick. So I get there, and when you first get in there, you know, there's someone who there greets you, because there's a restaurant there too, so it's not just a distillery. And then there's kind of I don't know how you describe, kind of a long lounge area with couches and stuff. And then there's these glass windows. And so from the very first floor, as soon as you walk in there and we'll look off to the left, you can see the stills, probably the mash tun, and those things right there through the windows while you're in the sort of the lounge area, and there's some couches and stuff. And then they have a little mini tasting area right there. So I'll go in there. Now, if you want to take a photo, if something is behind glass, you know, the still, and you want to take pictures of it, what you do is you take with a smart, you can't do this with a regular camera, but you can do it with a smartphone. Is, let's say this is the window, and on the other side are the stills I don't want to take a picture of. You know, you just push if you have clean glass, you can push the camera up against the glass and take a photo, and it'll get rid of you won't have any of the glare of the glass. You won't be getting reflection off the glass. So you get a nice clean picture. But of course, because the glass is there, you're limited as to angles and moving things around or whatever. So here's the funny part. And if you saw my post on Facebook today, you've already seen this. The funny thing is, I'm going to pour myself a little more. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Just give me 1 second. All right. Be right back. Just want to get a little bit more ice. Get a little look at my hotel room. So during the live stream here, now you have to worry about having a good signal. The lighting is an issue, right? You can't. These lamps don't move; they're fixed. I have a lamp right here, desk lamp, and so if I move this way, you would have this huge glare of light coming off the back of my head. You wouldn't be able to see. So I'm sort of pitched this in between these 2 lamps so that you don't get a massive glare. And then I have this one right here to give me light this way. So that way you're not getting major glare off my head. And it kind of works. Anyway, things you got to do when you're on the road when you try to figure things out, how you can do lighting, unless you're traveling around with your own portable lighting. Now, where was I in my story? Oh, okay. So I'm there at Samuel Mavic, trying to get the best pictures I can through the glass window. And the only one who else is around, there's the gal who, you know, she greets you when you come in there. And this guy comes out. He has kind of like a Mavic whiskey shirt on and a Mavic whiskey, like a baseball cap on, and he obviously works there. Young guy, I would guess he's in his early 30s. I'm 53. I'm an old fart, so everybody looks young to me. OG Brick says the phone will autofocus through it a bit too. That is true. That is true. So good smartphone will do really, really good. Yeah. I think I might have a buzz now. Congratulations. Are you smoking? Okay, are you smoking or are you drinking? Wow, man, he's got a picture of the herbs there. I didn't notice that before. He's got pictures of herbage there. So anyway, well, congratulations. Anyway, so the guy comes on, he's got kind of this work shirt on, the hat on, and he says, "Have you got a YouTube channel?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, I think I've seen your channel before, and I heard about you." I said, "Yeah, my name's Erik Wait." He goes, "Oh yeah, yeah." So this guy recognized me from YouTube. That's the third time that's happened to me. It's happened to me once in San Francisco. It happened to me in Glasgow, Scotland. I got recognized in the airport, and now it happened in Texas. So hey, I'm getting famous. So 3 people have recognized me as this Erik Wait whiskey tour guy. So I thought that was kind of funny. Anyway, so I started talking to him, and he goes, "Hey, you want to do a tour?" Awesome. Yeah, let's do a tour. Turns out he is the head distiller. He doesn't call himself a master distiller. And his name is, I'll cover up his phone numbers, Rick Monroe. So this is the head distiller. A master distiller is a title that you're awarded, if you've been doing it for a long time. It's an honorary title. Anyway, so this was the guy I met, Rick Monroe. Interesting spelling, R-I-K-K. So I'm Erik Wait, E-R-I-K, and he's Rick with 2 Ks. So we probably have similar struggles trying to get people to spell our name correctly. But anyway, super, super nice guy. And so we get to see, so we went through the glass doors, we went back there. And of course, you know me, I'm super nerdy, super nerdy. And we just geeked out, man. I had a gazillion questions to ask him about his distills and why they're doing this. They have 7 plates in their column still. And, like a lot of American distilleries, they'll use a pot still combination with a column still. I'll do a video on production. I'll get more into this. So typically in Scotland, you have a wash still, and then you have a spirit still. You do your first for your wash, and then your second distillation. And in case of, say, Alcatosh, you do a third distillation, use a spirit still. If you're doing a grain spirit or you're making vodka, use a column still, or you are also known as a patent still, also known as, my brain just went blank. The name will come to me later. There's a third name for the same type of still. The difference is in a column still, I'll use this. Let's say this is a column. So this would be like say this is a pot still, right? So here's all the brass. In fact, it's kind of shaped like a pot still. And then this goes up, and then so as you're heating it up, the vapors go up, and then some of it's going to drop back down depending on the shape and the size and the length of and all that. Some of it's going to keep dropping. That's called rectification. Going to keep dropping down, but eventually goes over and then drips down. You have a liquid, then you condense, then you collect it, and then you might put it back in and do a second run, right? So it's a pot still process. A column still has multiple plates in it, and it can have up to typically the most I've ever seen is 27 plates, and that's freaking insane. So in order to make vodka, it's a highly rectified spirit, 96% ABV. You need a column still. You can't really do it with a pot still. So you'd have multiple plates. So particularly if they're making whiskey and highly rectified spirits, such as vodka or gin, they'll have sort of a combination still. So they would have let's say this is the pot still, and then this is the column still. These are sort of connected, and they might run from one to the next. So, and there's different varied ways in which they do that. Is that a 375 Magnus? Yes, Steve. Yeah, this is a 375. This is a 375. It's not the 750. I've already reviewed the Magnus, but I wanted something to drink, something I knew I would like, but I couldn't find a smaller bottle of a Texas whiskey. So I picked this up, and I'm hoping to have this killed. I opened this Wednesday night. Yeah, I opened this Wednesday night. This should be done by tomorrow night. So when you have multiple plates, say in a column still, so it's working its way through the plates and falling down, working through the plates, and every time it's going down from dropping back to another plate, it's almost as if it had gone through an entire series in a pot still, but they keep coming down through these plates, and the more it eventually climbs, it gets lighter and lighter as it climbs, gets more and more rectified, because more intensified alcohol as it's going up. And then these plates, of course, are made out of copper, because you always got to have copper in there for a number of different reasons, right? Yeah, exactly. So OG Brick, yeah, its plate is essentially a it's like another condenser. Exactly. Anyway, I had no plan on getting into that topic, but whatever. Anyway, so he gave me a tour around, get to see there, and then he took me into downstairs, and it's the basement where they have some barrels, and then they also have some other barrels off-site. What else did we see? I'm trying to remember. Then I tasted the vodka, tasted gin, tasted the agave spirit. I tasted a light whiskey, and then I tasted this one. There's not a huge difference. The light whiskey was almost vodka-like in terms of its character. Now, I would rather have, a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, something older than this. I would never go to a store and buy one, other than if I just wanted to try it and see what it was like. I'm not planning on building a collection. I'm not planning on doing a, young whiskey month, whatever. But for the video from touring the distillery, I want to have something at least to review, to talk about. And I'll see if I got some other uses for this. My use for making cocktails, we'll see. Now, in terms of the quality of it, it's good. It's good. It just isn't, an aged whiskey the way I would want it to be. So basically, they're new. So they're probably, when they really released a nice aged whiskey, I think he said it was 2021. It would be in 2021. So we're in 2019, so we got a couple years to wait. Now, if we were in Scotland, it'd be another 10 years, right? Maybe 8 years, or even longer. But because Texas is Texas, they can do it a little bit earlier. Dram Bam says, yeah, man, that color wears me out. Yeah, it's almost Gatorade color. It is a little odd. In fact, it only spent maybe a day in the cask. I have difficulty personally really think of it as a whiskey. A whiskey should reflect in its flavors, not just the new make, but really have a flavor from the cask. That's the big issue. So OG Brick says, when you start with a killer beer brew, it needs no aging. These huge distillers crank out distill at 3 gallons a second. I don't know about that part, but in terms of a good brew, true. So seven stills in San Francisco, they start with a craft beer minus the hops, and then make a whiskey from there. So they're not extracting a ton of flavor from the barrels, because they don't need it, because they're getting most of their flavors, and they're good. They're just very different than when you typically think of a whiskey. You tend to associate whiskey flavors with the cask. And so you super young whiskeys tend to have a green note to it, because you're tasting more of that spirit. And I know John over at Blind Whiskey Reviews, he really does not like that. We both did a review of a Sonoma whiskey, and it was very, very green. And the wood even seemed like a 2x4. Like you just like if you take wood shop and you have wood and you plane, you have like a manual planer. You go to plane the wood, and you get that peel of wood coming off. I'm thinking I had wood shop in high school decades ago. That's what it kind of reminded me of. So you got kind of that green note with a sort of fresh planed pine note, and I don't like that. I would rather have, in fact, I would rather have this, which is more tequila-like, more gin-like. No, not gin, because it is not the botanicals. More vodka-like than something that's trying to fake being a whiskey that just has that pine character in it. But that one bottle from Sonoma, I might try some experimenting with it. You can buy these sticks. You can get them on Amazon. They're like these sticks, and you can drop them into a bottle. I might play around with that and try aging some of my own. It's just an experiment. Since otherwise I'm not going to drink that bottle. What am I going to do with it? So I might as well play around with it, learn with it, experiment, play around with it. So I might try get some of those sticks and then play around with it and see how it goes. Anyhow, I've been having a really, really great time here in Texas. It's sweaty balls there. It's really, really hot. But you can't keep complaining about the heat. Hey, deal with it. Plenty of air conditioning in the hotels is nice. Air conditioning in the truck is nice. The biggest challenge, I think, the one thing I've been working with is when while I'm inside of a distillery, all my luggage, when I left the hotel, is in my truck. And in my luggage are my bags. And in my bags are my whiskeys and the wines. The wines are more fragile. So my hope was I wouldn't spend so much time in there that the heat in the truck, I rented a pickup truck. That's the same pickup truck I have at home, just different year. That the insulation from being in because I have a huge luggage thing with all the insulation of the clothes and the whiskeys in the middle of it, that would provide enough insulation that it wouldn't heat up through the suitcase, into the clothes, and into the bottles. So I was hoping for safety for the whiskey and the wine during that part of the travel, and I think I did all right. OG Brick says, I got the Buffalo Trace White Dog. Yeah, I have that too. No, I have I have Maker's Mark. They call Maker's White. I have that. I bought 2 bottles so I can try aging one like that. Yeah, and then just, if you've never had new make before, try it side by side with actual finished whiskey and just sort of get that before and after effect. I think it's a good side by side comparison. Yeah. So Dram Bam says, yeah, Texas heat will ruin it in no time. Yeah, absolutely. Even California heat doesn't have to be Texas. If the temperature is 90 degrees, California, or even 85, it can get up to 120 in your car. So yeah, but say this is my luggage. All the outside of the inside is all my clothing, and then in the middle are the bottles. So my goal was that there'd be enough insulation in the bag that the heat wouldn't be getting through the clothes. And all you have to do is open up the bag and feel what's the middle of the bag feel like. And if it's not hot or warm in the middle of your luggage, then you're good to go. Then the whiskey was. So I think I did fine. Ultimately, I'll find out when I get home. But I can look at my bottles are right here. In fact, hold on a second. So here's one of the bottles I bought. I went to Driftwood, and the top is not. So what'll happen is you would get like this raised surface on the top right there. I've seen that happen before, and then eventually it'll just push the cork out, and you would get this bleeding and all that kind of crap. So that's not going on with this. Looks perfectly fine, perfectly flat. Looks perfectly fine. And then what happens to the wine? It gets baked. It's called materization. So I had to take a sensory analysis class. There's like 100 different flaws for wines, and you had to be able to smell the wine, recognize what the flaw was, and then identify it, and then if it can be treated or fixed in the winery, come up with a solution as to how you prevent that that flaw in the wine. As a sommelier, it's good to know that too. So when you're serving, before you serve it at the table, you don't want to serve someone at a table a bad wine, So you should recognize cork taint, trichloroanisole, and you should reduction and volatile acidity, and a bunch of other things. Anyway, so something being matterized with that, but this looks fine. So I don't think I'm not expecting to have any problems with my wines when I get home, and I'm hoping to visit some more tomorrow. Although I'm running short space in my luggage, because I'm thinking about doing on my wine channel an entire month of Texas wines. I'll do a Texas wine month on my wine channel, which will probably get done before my Texas whiskey month, which won't be until January 2020. So OG Brick says, I ran a pure agave mash through my. Oh, you have a still? Do you have a still at home? Or you work in the industry? It was delicious. Clear spirit, had a natural cinnamon taste. Interesting. I find agave has kind of a lime character to it. At least I'm the ones I've had. Becker is really great. Becker what? Becker what? Is that a band? Is that a whiskey? Is that a wine? Is that a brand of ice cream? 13-gallon keg with a reflux column. Mile High Distilling. So that's your. Oh, okay, I'll check that out. In fact, hold on a second. I'm gonna check it out right now. Just a second. Where did it go? I gotta find the link. Oh, you're not registered. Okay. And I'll check it out later. I just remember Mile High Distilling. Okay. Dude, if you're doing anything illegal, you shouldn't be advertising on. If you're not bonded. Anyway, Mile High Distilling. That sounds pretty cool. Jason Unsworth, thank you very much for tuning in. And he looks like he's wearing a uniform, a military uniform, or could you just be wearing camis? And I'm trying to figure out what the emblem is on the hat. Interesting. Oh, Mile, that's where you can buy the. I'm not registered, you might say. That's where you can buy the rig. Oh, okay, interesting. Arthur says, what are your thoughts on Little Book Chapter 2, No Simple Cask? I found a bottle today and previously tasted at a bar once. I like it as a blend of rye. So the best person that I know to ask, it's a good question, would be Jason at Mash and Drum. Jason knows much. So Jason and I are very parallels in our geekdom. The difference is I have a Scotch emphasis and Jason has a bourbon emphasis. So I enjoy Jason has some of the bourbon tubers because I can kind of glean from them, their study and their knowledge and their experience and like that. And then, so I don't spend as much time with bourbon. I did a whole month on bourbon. But so I'm not familiar with that particular bottle. So next time you see Jason, Mash and Drum go live, ask him that. And you could ask Scott at My Bourbon Journey. He would probably know that one really well. Matt, Whiskey Crusader, he might know about it really, really, really well. Okay, here we go. Fredericksburg, Texas. I don't know where that is. I'd have to look it up. Has about 60 vineyards. Becker is one of them. Okay, interesting. So I don't have to look it up on the map, figure out what wineries I want to go to tomorrow. I watch Arthur Lopez says I watch both of you guys and Jason equally. You're awesome guys. Thank you very much. I look forward to meeting up with them down in Texas. So some people have asked me, if I do a series on bourbon, the way I'm doing the stuff on whiskey, Scotch. thinking about it, but it wouldn't be till after I did my series on Scotch whiskey production next year. And it probably might not be until I went back to Kentucky and visited there again. But I kind of feel like a lot of that gets covered by Jason. But I might do it for my own study, because the best way to my own studies and own learning is to do videos, and stuff like that. Matt says it's about 45 minutes for me. Okay, well, 45 minutes is relative as to what time you're the traffic. But tomorrow's Saturday, so that shouldn't be so bad. Anyhow, Jason's emblem is that of a chaplain. Okay, cool. Yeah, it kind of looked like there was a cross in there, but I couldn't really tell. So that's cool. So I'm guessing he's a chaplain in a branch of the military. But hard to figure from the shape of the hat. So the Marine Corps has no chaplains. They have no corpsmen. So all the chaplains and corpsmen for the Marines are actually in the Navy, or medical doctors and stuff, because the Marine Corps is under the Department of the Navy. So, so that's cool. I know someone who's a retired chaplain. Needham is his last name. Bob. Army. Okay. Commander Bob Needham. There's a guy that I went to seminary with, who went back. He was in the Air Force, and I haven't seen him in 18, 20 years or whatever. So he was a chaplain, he went on to be a chaplain in the Air Force. Prior enlisted, went to seminary, got his Master of Divinity, and then went back in the Air Force as a chaplain. So, alrighty, so we've been live for about an hour. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. Just basically give an update as to everything that went on today, and visiting distilleries here in Texas, and what I've got coming up. So my next video that I'll actually do will be a review of a Glengoyne legacy series. I did an uncorking of it during a live stream with the Whiskey Crusaders, but I'll do a more formal review. And then when I get back home, I need to jump right back in and work on my next series of videos on the business of Scotch whiskey. So I really want to jump back into that. So I'm hoping my next video for the business of Scotch whiskey will be next Wednesday, but probably Monday would be my review of a Glengoyne Legacy Series, Series 1. So, and on that, since it's the first series, it's the first one to do in 2019, anytime there's a number 1, you might want to buy to that just as a collector's, because sometimes those take off and become expensive. Anyway, all right. Hey, so it's 10 o'clock here. Time to go to bed in a little bit. Get up and do some more exploration of wineries and distilleries here in Texas. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And if you're watching this on the replay, thank you very much for watching. And be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. And if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. And until next time, cheers. Hey, Mark. Cheers.